Hey everyone, my name is David Dunbar, or the Theme Park Evangelist. So it's time for another Life as a Working Disney Cast Member video. I do have good news before I continue any further. So I did get my sense of smell back today. If that does say anything at all about what sickness I had. Never did lose my taste at all, which is great. But anyway, so I called my doctor to see if I could get some type of test done tomorrow. It's supposed to be a test that takes 2 days to go get through, and let's just put it this way: if it comes back um, in a way that looks good for me, then I can go back to work the day after the test results come back. But if the test results come back through in a way that does not work out for me, then I'm basically going to be staying at home until next Sunday, like I'm supposed to be. So I guess we'll see what happens. Anyway, in the meantime, let's get right into the next video. So this is my last Animal Kingdom video, and then we're gonna be ending the vlog or the series. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that all today. I'm gonna finish up with my Life as a Working Disney Cast Member series today. How sad is that? Which means that my next series will be starting very shortly, titled "What It Was Like to Meet TJ and K, or K and TJ, or something like that." It's basically going to be my K and TJ series, YouTube series, or whatever. Anyway, without any further ado, let's begin this next YouTube video. So, another cool thing I got to do at Animal Kingdom was I got to work over Rivers of Light. So, I had already known where the costuming building was, of course, from working at the Flame Tree Barbecue. So, the very first time I worked at Rivers of Light, I knew it was going to be freezing cold out. And Rivers of Light was, a really cool show to work at. And it was something I was kind of doing after work at Magic Kingdom. I was trying to get as many hours as I possibly could. So the very first time I did it, I think it was kind of near the end of the month, and it was like so cold out. It was insane. So I didn't really know what jacket I needed. So they said, well, you could wear this big black jacket. Now, for the Floridian at the time who claimed to have Canadian blood, you would think that I would be fine, especially with this big, heavy black jacket on. So I think this was the one time I did have to walk through the park up until I got to the side. Now, I thought it was kind of interesting walking through security. I had to go through this special security entrance, and I had to have my. I don't think I had a bag with me, so I think I just kind of walked through a separate security entrance. And then I went through this other entrance. And I'm very sure the first time that I worked at Rivers of Light, I had absolutely no idea where I was clocking in at. So I was like, okay, I got a bit of a problem. But thankfully, once again, my dad came to my rescue. And that's kind of why I intentionally did that video yesterday, to prove that, you never know when your family or friends that have worked for Disney or do work for Disney are ever going to come to your rescue. So my dad was able to meet me backstage because I kind of knew where I was going when I got back there, but I got lost, and I was like, oh, great. And I had no idea where I was going. I only had so much time to go and get clocked in at. I knew where Rivers of Light was at, but at the same time, Rivers of Light literally takes place in Asia and Africa. Now, Rivers of Light no longer exists. I should let you guys know that right now. But at the time, I was like, okay, so obviously it's got to take place somewhere. Like, you got to go clock in somewhere. So my dad happened to know exactly where I had to go clock in at. There is a trailer behind Finding Nemo the musical, so he met me backstage and he walked me through Dinoland USA. He walked me behind Finding Nemo the musical, and we walked into this green trailer, and I literally clocked in just on time. It was insane, and my dad made sure stood around another 30 seconds or so to make sure I clocked in on time. I told him how thankful I was. And then I just kind of hung around in there. Like, almost every single person in there was wearing the Kali River Rapids shirt, like I was. That was the costume that I had to wear. It was a Kali River Rapids shirt or a t-shirt. It was either a red or a green one. So, I'm just kind of hanging around in there, and eventually they came and got us, and they took us all over to this area where they had a little conversation with us. It was all outdoors. And, of course, we're all freezing out there, and they couldn't figure out why I was so cold because of the fact that, like, I'm literally bundled up more than any of them. So they just kind of let us know, like, what to expect, and the fact that it was going to be really slow, and just to do our absolute best anyway. And they started putting us in different sections. So I got put over in the Dinoland USA area, which is not as busy of an area. And all I had to do was stand there, and it was so annoying because nobody was coming. I did have to do strollers or something, but like nobody was coming to the show that night, and because it was getting so slow, I finally asked if there was any way I could go home. They were like, "Really? You want to go home? Like, you just got here?" And I mean, it's not like I hadn't worked all day already. I was working extra hours. So I was working an extra shift on top of what I had already worked. So I actually did probably end up working probably more than 8 hours that day. I probably got like 9 hours or so. So it's not like I was that bad off, but it still would have affected me for being late. I'm still very thankful my dad showed me what to do because I knew what to do for it next time. At least I knew it was there. So I probably was there a good hour or so, and then finally I was like, I can't handle this anymore. It's too cold. It's boring. So I was like, yeah, I need to leave. So they're like, yeah, that's fine. You can go ahead and leave. So I made my way back. I clocked out, and then I walked all the way back to my car. I drove back to the costuming building, and I changed back into my clothes. I returned my costume. I think I did do it one more time, so the next time I obviously knew where I was going, so once again, I got there, I clocked in, I waited around until it was time for us to go, and this time they had us hang out inside of Finding Nemo the musical, and that's where they did their whole announcement thing. No, I thought it was kind of funny because some of us were really far back, and they're having people, or some people could talk really loud, some people could barely talk at all, and I'm like trying to hear everybody. It's like I could barely hear what everybody's saying, but yeah, I'm still sitting here. So they did their kind of big meeting thing inside of Finding Nemo the musical. I guess it was like really big deal for them to do these meetings like before each show. This was a much warmer night, so I think I actually did end up staying a lot longer, and I think they had a big VIP party, so I think I did actually end up staying a lot longer. So I end up, and Sundays they do 2 shows, by the way. I think this was one of those nights that they were doing 2 shows, but they also had a ton of employees, and Ironically, my coworker Shawnee was there too. I thought that was kind of cool. So, yeah, basically what ended up happening that night was I got put over in the Asia section, and since we had all these employees, I was just kind of running back and forth, grabbing strollers. It was kind of fun walking right past Everest over and over again. Much busier area, and we did do everything that we needed to do. I was actually hoping I could stay later, but they actually were like, "Yeah, we have too many employees, so we're gonna have to start sending people home early." So unfortunately, I did have to go. But at least that time, I did get some extra hours on top of my normal work hours that I had already worked. But at least that time, it was a little more worth it. I think I only did it like 2 or 3 times altogether. But, it was, a cool show to work at. Just kind of pushing strollers. It was kind of cool just being in the show. I think there was another time that I worked there and we sat in the actual theater. I know one time we stood in the theater, and that was the first. That was the first time. That was like when it was freezing out, when we were doing our meeting. And there was another time we sat in there and we were doing our meeting. And I know we did one of our meetings in the Finding Nemo the Musical building. But anyway, the point is, we always did these meetings, and I always kind of helped out with strollers and stuff like that. And it was a fun experience. I liked the costume. It was very casual. It was some great extra hours. I enjoyed the experience overall. Unfortunately, it didn't last very long, but at least it gave me the opportunity to work at Animal Kingdom a couple of times. I did get to see kind of the back of Rivers of Light the one day I was working over at whatchamacallit, Flame Tree Barbecue. I did actually end up working my entire shift that day, now that I remember correctly, because I remember cleaning tables, and I remember seeing the show going on. So I thought that was kind of cool, and I know that was not anything to do with me being a guest. I don't think that was. I'm very sure that I was not sitting down in Flame Tree Barbecue watching the show going on. I'm very sure that happened to be me being out there that night watching the show. And I was like, oh, cool. This is kind of what it looks like from behind. But yeah, at least I can say that I've seen the show from behind. I've seen the show from an employee standpoint because I've worked the show. At least I got to work the show before they got rid of it. Very actually easy considering most of the show is done by the entertainment out on the water, and the other people, they're all in charge of like strollers, making sure you can help find your spot, wearing a microphone, helping direct guests where they need to go. It was a very busy show. A lot of guests did come to see it. It was cool, even though it was like 10-15 minutes long. But they still got a good amount of people coming in. And the first show was always busier. That's why they always needed help with the first show. The second show, not so much. And sometimes they had a lot of employees that came in, and sometimes they just didn't need everybody for both shows. So that's basically the best way to put it. So my last two vlogs are going to be what it was like to quit Disney, and how do I feel now that I've quit Disney. I'm going to put both of those together just because they're both going to be relatively short, so I can use both all in one, and that will be the end of my series. So I hope that you enjoyed this YouTube video about what it was like to work at Rivers of Light, and I will see you guys in the next vlog. And always remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Have a great day. Peace out.